Hi, all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Whew, my voice sounds terrible. I haven't spoken all day today. My little plague niece has been dragging a sickness home from school. Alright, it is day 7. It is pretty close to uh, Horde night here. I did set the time to a 40-minute day so that we could experience, Horde night here. Uh, so we're going to see how this goes. This is the first Horde night. I don't know. I don't know exactly how Horde night goes. I've been through one on the multiplayer game, but that's a little different than uh, being on by yourself. It actually wasn't too bad on the multiplayer game. We just basically. Oh, what am I doing? That's my path. I am blocking off my path. That's not what I want to do. We basically just ran around and kited the zombies while the other people killed them from behind. Hopefully we don't get that error that I got last time that made the ring of zombies spawn just stand there and do nothing. Um, yeah, so oh man, will you stop doing that extra swing? We played our D&D last night, um, and whew, we had a doozy of a night, that's for sure. Uh, we're we're doing this thing where there's a basically a vampire running this town, and so the vampire wants this woman, and so we've been paid to take her to this other town where she can hide out because it hasn't been attacked. In 100 years, the town has never been attacked, we're told. And and so, dang it, stop with the extra. And oh, and then I'm out of pieces. Oof, I don't think I need that many. How will we go with 100? And so, we're doing our thing, and we're talking to the people, um, and so the woman, of course, is being played by our DM, and now this, of course, is the guy who causes me the most grief when we're playing, and so uh, we he's doing this thing. He didn't do it last game we played with him, which lasted a long time. We went like 14 levels, but I don't think we ever had an NPC necessarily with us like we do with this woman who just won't go away. And so he's been doing this thing where the NPC will talk for the group. And so we're sitting there while he basically talks to himself because he wants to run the narrative, and we're not allowed to attempt anything or like for example, I think this is really stupid, but we talked to the priest, and he's like, "Oh well, I need to talk to you in secret." I'm like, "Okay." So we go and we talk to the priest in secret, and it turns out that they're church. I'm confused because they said that city hasn't been attacked. But now he says we can't leave the woman at the church because the church isn't secure. And I'm like, well, we were paid to bring her to this city. I don't understand why she's still with us. And they're like, and the DM's like, well, you're not just gonna leave her while it's dangerous. And so I was like, well, we were paid to bring her here. We weren't paid to babysit her once we got here. I mean, my guy's a paladin, so of course if she's in danger, we're gonna protect her. But I don't think that means she needs to travel everywhere with us. Well, the DM won't let us leave her anywhere. And so he's all like, oh, well, she would feel safer if she's with you, so she's not going to stay behind. And so we talk to the priest, and he gives us a list of people who probably know uh, where the bones from the saint that's been stolen have gone. And so that's what we started doing last night. And so he told us the only person he'd ever told him about the bones was this kid. And then the priest is like, "Oh well, maybe this other guy knows because he's always around. So maybe he knows where the bones are at." And so we're like, "Okay, so maybe that guy knows where the bones are at." And so we go and we talk to the kid, right? Or we go to talk to the kid. And I had asked the priest for a symbol of authority so that when we told people we were from the priest, they would know we were from the priest. And so we go to the first place and we're like, we're here on behalf of Father Lucian, and we need to speak with your son. And the woman's like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, well, we have the paperwork from the priest, and we just need to speak with your son. What do you need to speak with my son about? I'm like, well, him and the priest discussed something, and so we need to speak with him about what was discussed. Well, what did they discuss? I'm like, well, that's between him and the priest. We just need to speak with your son for a couple of minutes. And so, no, the woman refused to allow us to speak to her son. Even though we've got the papers from the priest, even though this is a thing that's supposed to advance our quest line, we're not allowed to talk to the woman. So who talks to the woman so that we can advance our quest line? The NPC. So we sat there while the NPC had a discussion with the NPC, which of course is all done by the DM. And alright, I gotta make sure this stuff is off because I don't wanna summon anything. Um, so now it's nighttime, man. Oof. I definitely want to hang out in this corner of my house because this corner of my house is where the open is. This is where the car has smashed through the wall. And so if they're gonna attack anything, I want it to be this corner. I can already hear zombies. So I wanted to see what would happen if I let like a normal. Well, I don't want to just sit here. Oh, and there's an error message. I don't want to just. Oh, I'm getting a little bleed through there. Why am I? Oh, because of the light bulb. I don't want to just sit there. That's boring. What else can we do here? I wish I had the stuff to make a mining helmet because that is my favorite thing. What am I wearing here? Iron leg armor. That looks different. Okay, so what do I need to do to get a... Is it advanced engineering here? Yeah, okay. To get a workbench and a table saw, crossbow, compound bow, mining helmet. Yeah. This is what I want. So what do I gotta have for that? Level 25. Okay. So level 25. I can't make a mining helmet until level 25. Well, that doesn't help me out. We've got the bike downstairs. Oh, I could probably unload some of this stuff. I guess really all I've got is working on this garden upstairs, right? Let's I don't be carrying these mechanical parts or these pipes. Or this gasoline. I don't know why I'm carrying gasoline. We should probably set my bedroll though. I don't think it's got my bedroll set down. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go back up on the roof then and continue working on my farm. Hopefully it's not too dark up there. I think the farm is this way. But yeah, it was super annoying, and then he just sits there and has a conversation with himself while me and the other guy who's actual playing the game are just waiting. It is so dark. I wonder if I have a torch that I can brighten this up with a little bit. Where are my boxes? Oh no, I used my torch, didn't I? Okay, what does it take to make a torch? I need cloth fragment, animal fat. I think I got that. Can I have like 4 torches? Why does it take so long to build a torch? Okay, give me one more here. You think I can reach that spot? Nope. It's alright though, we got a little bit of room here. And so, I'm like, oh, good, it's gonna be one of those days where we get to listen to the DM talk to himself for an hour of our gameplay. And yeah, it kind of went like that the whole night. Every time we went to do something, we would get interrupted by this NPC Arena who's with us so that she could talk to the townsfolk instead of us. And then on top of that, I ended up I've been trying not to, but every time after we're done, I have to look up how it was supposed to go because it's driving me crazy how it is going. And we went and we talked to the kid, and the kid didn't know anything. The kid that we had to spend a half hour arguing with his mother to even be able to talk to. And even though we had documents from the priest, who is her priest, telling her that we have permission to talk with the kid. Um, and so he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything. So there was no point to even talk to him. After all that, he doesn't know anything. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great. You just wasted. We have limited play time. We only play for like 2 hours maybe, and you just wasted a half hour of it talking to a woman who we had papers telling her to let us talk to her kid. Thanks. And instead, we got to listen to you carry on a multi sentence conversation between the two characters you're controlling as the DM. Oh, and so then we go to the next place, and he had told us where it was at the week before, and I wrote it down in my notes, and then he completely changes where everything's at when we start playing again. And we go to this place, and we go to talk to the gravedigger. The gravedigger is a kid who's like 14, 15, something like that. It's like it's not really a kid, but he's a young person, I guess. And well, when we get there, he lives at the orphanage for whatever reason. And he is unconscious, and we can't wake him up. And there are no clues as to why he's unconscious. We talk to the woman who runs the orphanage, and then Arena talks to the woman who runs the orphanage for a little while, and then uh, come on, get in there. And then um, so the woman finally lets us talk to the kid, and the kid's unconscious. And on the way to the kid's room, the woman says, "Oh, and his best friend is also really sick." And we're like, "Oh." And then all the kids are covered in bruises. And so I'm like, "Well, like, are they bruises like they're being beaten, or what's going on here?" I mean, I didn't say what's going on here. My character is a kind of a police officer, and so I was questioning her on why the kids were in this condition, and she so she talks to us about how all the kids have been ill, and so we're trying to figure out what's going on. And then he's they give us all these names. He gives us all these names, like there's this kid named Cedric, only he died by falling out a window, and he was best friends with the little girl named Tess, and she was the only one that he didn't pick on, and so we're like, oh well, when did all this bruising and stuff start? And they're like, oh well, I don't know, but I've only been in charge of the orphanage for 6 months because the previous woman who ran the orphanage died. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm thinking maybe there's a poltergeist happening here. And I think I should be able to get another row of these in before I need to put posts down, actually. And so no, the bruising and nightmares that the kids are having didn't start until well after the woman died. So oh, that was it. That was the whole weird. Uh, I I thought it would be worse than it was. Like that wasn't bad at all. We'll wait till it gets daytime. Um, I expected like a horde of zombies to be attacking my building while I was out here working, and I think I heard one zombie. Oh, we did get an error message though. Maybe that was my zombie horde spawned in. They're probably just standing there, right? Scratching their heads somewhere. My zombie hordes are broken. I feel like I need to start a new map, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, so it's ridiculous how much time it takes to get any information about what's going on. And oh, I'm out of things. And so um, None of the people he mentioned, except for one kid, had anything to do with anything. So, Cedric, who went out the window, nothing to do with the story. Old woman who used to run the orphanage, nothing to do with the story. And, and it's like, why is everything like, as the saying goes, pulling teeth to get information from this DM about anything? And so, um, okay, I only got one corn, no potatoes. I've got one goldenrod seed. I need to collect some seeds. It looks like. So now I've got my garden going a little bit here. We need to. Oh, you know what? I need frames so I can even get out of this place. Frame. And oh no, they're there. They're there. They're just standing there. You think they're just standing there? Oh, look, there's a dog just standing there. Or are they waiting for me to come down? No, they must be just standing there because they have better pathing. They should be coming for me. Can we get some light anytime here, please, so I can see what I'm doing? Um, so, uh, so yeah, eventually it turns out that it's, um, Felix. And when we find Felix, Felix isn't actually sick. He got that wrong, and so he had to go and retell everything he had already told us about Felix, which is another thing that happens a lot with him, is that he tells us one thing, and then when we actually go to interact with it, he changes it. Yeah, I've just got brain dead zombies again. I definitely need to get that fixed. Hard to have a horde night when my horde don't work. Oh, don't mind me. I'm gonna take this. Iron boots and steel. Nice. Um, yeah. I could probably repair these, right? Alright. So what I need to do now is I need to find my bike. And then I need to go find some corn and potatoes. It takes like 5 of each, I think, to make seeds. Let me look here. Seed. So to make potato seed, it takes 4 potatoes. Potatoes are expensive, and to make corn is 4. Yep. But we do have this nice little bike now to try and hunt down some fields. I don't know if they'll have any here in town. I did I did pass near the farm at some point, right? Or was that on the other map? That was on the other map. Um, so maybe I should head south out of here and see if I can find the farm. So anyways, yeah, it was super frustrating because everybody we talked to had no information, and then when we do find something, it's like, oh, right, what I told you was wrong. It's actually this, and so we had to fight a demon for the kid, and I'm fine with that part. It's just that. none of the information led us anywhere, and it was a lot of information, like Cedric and how Cedric died and how he was bullying the other kids, and how the nun died, and or nun the head of the orphanage died, and how that had nothing to do with anything, and it's just like, we don't need this information dump. It doesn't help us, and you don't weave it into this story. Like, we thought maybe the old woman was the poltergeist, or I did, anyways. There was no poltergeist. And then the I didn't want to come here into the uh, fire and rainforest here. I wanted to find the farm, and so we eventually find out that the gravedigger kid had stolen the bones and sold them to somebody for a bunch of money, uh, like a year's worth of rent money, which seemed a tad bit much, and this necklace that was possessed by a demon, and so that was it. That was the end of our night. We weren't allowed to go after the guy who. Oh, nobody knew anything about a dude who smelled like sawdust, and we had to go speak to one other group of people who had nothing to do with anything before we found out it was the coffin maker. But we weren't allowed to finish the story with the coffin maker because he didn't have, quote, anything else prepared. And so by the time we got done with all that, I was mildly frustrated with playing D&D with him for the night. And then after, I think today's the 17th, and our other game that we play with him is Play by Post, and the last time it was updated was the 18th of last month. So we've got a whole month between updates, and so he finally updates it. You also are not a cornfield. I need a cornfield. I also need better stamina gen because I'm getting tired of not being able to move. I need to look at my multiplayer game because I don't have this stamina problem on there. And so I don't know quite what the deal is. I really think I need to start a new map. We might have to start a new map next episode just because they got the new 7.1 patch coming, and this was created on experimental, and I know there's been some patches since then, and I wonder if that's not some of the glitches I'm experiencing. So then we get to our play-by-post game, and we found this guy, and he got tied up by goblins, we guess. That's what we were told. And so the goblins... Oh, jeez. You know what? Nobody's even moving. All my zombies are glitched out. I should stop and kill that bear, right? But, so then we get attacked by the goblins, and he has us roll perception, and so we roll perception, and my guy rolls a 25. Oh, cool. The road is closed ahead due to radiation. Oh man, it really is closed ahead due to radiation. What does the radiation look like now? Oh, shoot. Shoot. There's no warning. There's just no warning. Ow. Ow. And, so I rolled a 25. I rolled a 19 plus 6. 25. That's like almost a max roll. But somehow I couldn't see the goblins coming until they were attacking us. And then he had us roll for initiative, and then did a round of initiative with everybody who wasn't on watch being asleep. And so then when I took my turn, all I was allowed to do was shout for everybody else to wake up. Why wouldn't I do that when I saw the goblins coming in? Like, that's dumb and not how the game works. And so he took a turn and attacked my guy, and then he said my turn was shouting for everybody to wake up, and then attacked my guy again. And then took another turn. He basically took 2 turns before we were allowed to do anything, and now he has them hiding and says that it takes our turn to try and find them. So we can't actually interact with the bad guys because they're hidden. And it's so dumb. And not only that, but the goblins are jumping on each other's backs to make a stack of goblins, which gives them advantage on their attacks for some reason. And somehow they're still able to hide even though they're stacked 4 goblins high. So I don't know what he's doing, but it's getting super annoying. Yeah. Alright, well, this was not a very successful Horde night. I mean, I survived, but only because my game is broken. I was hoping it was a one-off glitch, but it's obviously continuing to happen, so I am going to have to start a new game next time, it looks like, to get rid of the glitches. So click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.